Hey everyone, how y'all doing? So today I thought I'd do an open tag video. This is an open tag that was started over on the Singing Toad channel. If you're not subscribed or you don't know about the Singing Toad, go over, check him out. I'll definitely link him down in the description and everything. Great channel. He was one of my shout out Sunday channels a while back. And yeah, so he did a video and he left it as an open tag to show you top 5 favorite knives. And he had different categories. First one was multi-tool. Next was a Swiss Army knife, modern folder, a traditional folder, and a fixed blade. And then an honorable mention. Well, I thought it was a good idea, and I start looking at all my knives and multi-tools, and it's like, I can't decide on most of these. And then what one do I put as an honorable mention? So I'm going to do this a little different. I'm going to show my favorite, for example, my favorite multi-tool, and an honorable mention for the multi-tool category, my favorite Swiss Army knife, and then an honorable mention, and so on. But yeah, get down to the multi-tools. My absolute favorite multi-tool that I love to carry and use has to be the Victorinox Spirit X. And it's just an excellent multi-tool. Slightly a bit smaller than some other multi-tools, but the way Victorinox they make their knives and multi-tools, the fit and finish is excellent. Everything is excellently done on this. But yeah, go through this real fast. Check it out. It says Victorinox right there. It's got the cross and shield. Very ergonomically shaped handle. All the tools are accessible from the outside. Open it up to get the pliers out. These are excellent pliers. Wire cutters. No play hardly at all in the handles, in the jaws of the multi-tool or the pliers. But yeah, very ergonomically shaped handles. Real comfortable in hand to use the pliers. No chance of getting pinched up in here like I'll say the Leatherman Wave Plus. I've done that several times on the Wave Plus. No chance of that on this, but all the tools are easily accessible from the outside, and every tool is locking. So go through this real fast. Hardest thing is finding the nail nicks on these things. You have an awl with a hook, like the parcel hook right there. You have a wood saw that's pretty wicked, and you can see I've used it. That's an awesome tool. And then here you have a big flathead screwdriver, cap lifter, wire bender, and I use this as a small light duty pry tool. Like I said, all the tools are locking. All you do is pull these tabs down to unlock. And then this is an awesome tool, a chisel with this little side edge. Works good for scoring and opening packages. Got wire strippers here. That comes in handy. Like I said, the hardest thing is finding the nail nicks on all these tools. Then you got your main blade. Nice blade. Real sharp, slicey. I don't tend to use the blades on my multi-tools all that much. And then on the back here, you have a pair of scissors. Gotta have a pair of scissors. Now, these might be the biggest issue with this multi-tool. These are actually a Wenger design pair of scissors with that torsion bar, so you can see they don't open up quite as far, but they cut excellent. Next tool is a small flathead screwdriver, and then you have your 3D Phillips head inline, comes out the end. That is excellent. That is like a number 1, number 2 combo Phillips head. Works good though. And then you have your standard Victorinox can opener with a flathead screwdriver on the tip. And then you have a nice file, rougher on this side, a little finer on that side. Got it teeth on the edge for you can use as a little metal saw, but excellent file. You can see I've used that several times as one of the better files you can get on a multi-tool. And I think that's it. But yeah, the Spirit X is definitely my favorite, and came with this leather sheath, which works fine. Actually comes with a corkscrew that you can slide in here like that, and a mini screwdriver. So that's an added feature. Plus I got the one with the little bit kit with the L-shaped driver. Put the bits in either end. Now this only came with 4 different bits. I added the rest of them, but yeah, most of these are WeHa bits that I added, except for that little adapter is a no-name brand, but very useful. I like having the drivers separate from the multi-tool, although you do have a Phillips head and a couple of flatheads in the multi-tool. You can see I have Torx and Hex head and a couple other ones in there. But yeah, this is by far my favorite multi-tool to use and carry. Now for the honorable mention is one that I like a lot. I don't carry it because it's an obsolete item. You know, it's no longer made and it's cool, and I don't want to ruin this one. And that is the Buck Knives Buck Tool. And this one is actually signed by CJ Buck and Chuck Buck. And it says 02. I don't know if you can see them or not. But right here, they're signed. And this is the Buck Tool 360. And I just like the way this thing operates. You literally like flip it open 360 degrees. And you have a pretty decent pair of pliers right here. Got a big jaw right here, larger than most multi-tools. And the only bad thing is, you know, the tools are on the inside, so you do have to open it up, but you have a basic tool set. You have a blade, partially serrated blade, which is super sharp, and these tools are all locking also. By pressing the button on the side here, you can close it. And then you have 3 different flathead screwdrivers here. Oh, the blade popped out too, but 3 different flathead screwdrivers. Get these things to close up. See the snap on those? This thing's like brand new. I got this off from eBay. Then you have this fully serrated blade, which isn't too bad. It actually cuts through like nylon rope halfway decent. And yeah, everything locks. You depress that to unlock. And then a weird little thing is you have a lanyard loop right here if you want to put something on there. Then you have your can opener and a Phillips head screwdriver. That's kind of a 2D, not a full 3D screwdriver, but it works pretty good. And yeah, this is my honorable mention, my favorite multi-tool. Like I said, this isn't one I carry often, hardly at all. I just think it's wicked cool, and it's signed by CJ Buck and Chuck Buck. And yeah, that's probably my favorite multi-tool that I don't use. So next one is your favorite Swiss Army knife. And let me tell you, that's a hard one. I have a ton of Swiss Army knives. I like all of them. I rotate them in and out of my EDC all the time. But probably my favorite one that I do carry it, I do use it, has to be the Swiss tool. I mean, if you're going to have a Swiss Army knife, why not have almost everything that's available? This thing has a tool for almost any need. Now, obviously, it's not a real heavy-duty use multi-tool like the Spirit X. And that's not... This is moderate use. I wouldn't say it's heavy-duty, but good heavy, moderate use. This is light use. This thing has everything. You got your opener, layer, bottle opener, can opener, 3D inline Phillips screwdriver, magnifying glass, the pliers, which are actually more useful than you would think these things would be. They're like a heavy-duty pair of tweezers. You can definitely grip and pull a lot with these. Awesome pair of scissors on this. The way the Spirit X have these ones. So you got that. You have the fist scaler and ruler, which is kind of neat. I've used that to cut up the styrofoam packing out of, boxes. Got a wicked saw, nice wood saw again. And then this one has a pretty nice file, pretty close to being as good as the Spirit X file. But again, you got the teeth on the edge for metal saw. That comes in awful handy. Then you have your main blade, then your small blade, and I'll show you the can opener, bottle openers, just for the heck of it, right there, normal fare. Got the corkscrew with a mini screwdriver, straight pin right there. This is a little tiny chisel, which is pretty neat to have. Then you have a smaller flathead screwdriver. Have a parcel hook, which I like the parcel hook. I find uses for it. And then you have the all reamer with a sewing eye. So that's the back layers. Look, I broke a nail. And then you have your toothpick, tweezers, and a pressurized ballpoint pen. Right there has the plus scales, and this isn't bad to carry. I carry this quite often, hanging in my left front pocket with this suspension hook, and it's big and it's heavy, but it does not carry bad. So that's my favorite. I'd say this has to be my favorite Swiss Army knife. And then the honorable mention has to be my birthday knife that my wife got me. My wife and daughter. Wife picked it out. She had my name engraved on one side. Factors the channel name on this side. This is the Ranger 55 wood. It has some Wenger inspired tools and some Victorinox tools, but this has an awesome blade on it. You can see Victorinox right there. Swiss made Delmont right there, up here. And that's a pretty nice blade. The blade is locking, has this liner lock, but you push the crossing shield right there in to unlock it. You have your opening layers, can opener, bottle opener, tools. This has a huge, wicked wood saw. This thing cuts through branches like nobody's business. That's not a locking tool, but you really don't need it. On the back, you have the the corkscrew, the mini screwdriver in it. I added that. There's no hole for a pin on this. You do have your little key ring for a lanyard. I need to have one, make one for this. And yeah, this has got to be an honorable mention. I don't carry this all that often. Definitely a belt carry knife. This is what, 140 millimeter, 130 millimeter. So it's one of the largest ones they make, and it's a combination between Victorinox and Wenger, or Wenger, however you want to pronounce it. So it's pretty cool. So that is my honorable mention for Swiss Army knife. Now, modern folder, probably no surprise, my favorite modern folder, if you know the channel, has to be the Benchmade 940 Osborne. Just an awesome EDC knife, hard to use knife, work knife. That reverse tanto, you got a pretty beefy tip there, got some meat behind it. Nice slender blade, S30V steel, slender green anodized aluminum handles. I added a deep carry pocket clip to it, and yeah, this is the original version of it, the purple backspacer, axis lock. Just an awesome all-around knife that you can do a lot of heavy work with this thing. Is it the best slicer in the world? No. A little thick behind the edge. I laid the edge back to 17 degrees last time I sharpened it, fully sharpened it, so it slices better. I may take the edge back, lay it back to 15 degrees next time. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites, probably my favorite knife to EDC for all purposes. One I would definitely replace if I lost it or broke it. I'd definitely replace it, even at the price of Benchmades now. But the 940 is definitely my favorite. So the honorable mention for modern folder has to be the Spyderco Native 5 Lightweight. I absolutely love the Native 5 Lightweight. Just an awesome EDC knife. Comfortable, got that forward finger choil. Ergos are just excellent in this knife. I changed out the clip to a lynch clip. I didn't like the regular clip because it's kind of a small knife and you had a lot, a quarter of the handle sticking out of your pocket. So I put a lynch clip on it. It's a lock back, but it's easy. One hand open, one hand closed. This one has the Spy 27 steel, which I like a lot. It holds an edge pretty good. It's pretty easy to sharpen. I have not chipped the edge at all. I've flattened the edge out a little bit a few times because I was being too rough with it. But very slicey little knife. The FRN handles feel okay. This bi-directional pattern definitely adds a lot of grip. And yeah, this has to be my honorable mention for modern folder. So that's that. Now, traditional folders, I don't have that many. And probably my favorite right now, and I'm not even sure it's a true traditional, but it is the Rosecraft Blades Aoi River Kayak. And I keep showing this, and it's because I absolutely dig it. It's an awesome knife. I love the I love everything about it. They call this a K-clip. I call it a reverse tanto. It reminds me of the blade on the 940. You hold them right up there, very, very similar, which means has a little bit of meat behind the edge. Still has a fairly fine tip on this one, but not real dainty. And cool blade shape. Love the bone on this. They call red apple bone. That is so pretty. Fit and finish on this is excellent. Feels good in hand. It's not a huge knife by any means, but just a wonderful knife. So my foray into traditionals, I have to say, of the ones I have, this has to be my favorite. And it's kind of modern traditional, I guess. Has D2 steel for the blade. It is, based on the kayak pattern. Kind of like the canoe pattern, but it's a single blade. And designed by Andy Armstrong. Motto, this is RCT009. There's the Tang stamp, Rosecraft blades. And yeah, right now, traditional knife, slip joint, whatever, this has to be my favorite. Now, the honorable mention is a traditional knife, and that would have to be the Case full-size trapper and the yellow synthetic handles. This is carbon steel, CS. This is the Tang stamp, Case XX. Got the clip point blade. And then you have the spade blade, which a lot of people don't like. But USA 3254 CS for carbon steel. And I use this a lot for food prep. Just cutting, slicing up an onion or whatever. Peppers. It works good. Fit and finish on this one is pretty okay. Blade centering was way off on this. I did fix that a little bit by beating the crap out of it. But the clip point is pretty down the center. The spade blade fills the space up more. That's right down the center. No real gaps. Maybe a slight gap along the liner and the spring here. Nothing to cry about. But yeah, a trapper, a Case trapper in general would have to be on the list. I could have put that purple one in, but this is one I use and I carry quite often. So definitely a trapper would be in my list of favorites. Now, fixed blades. I have a few fixed blades, and this is another hard one. I could have picked out my one I've had the longest, this old Western cutlery one, my hunting knife since I was a young teenager. This is skinned deer, everything, and I've used it for purposes I probably shouldn't have used a knife for. I should have probably had a pry bar or something instead. But this thing, USA made, Western R16, some kind of stainless steel that doesn't hold an edge very long and is actually a pain in the ass to sharpen. This is not the easiest knife to sharpen, to get a good edge on it. And it does go dull fairly fast. You can process one deer, field dress it and all that, and probably cut up and probably skin it. But when you get to butchering it, cutting it up, this gonna run out on you fast. But the field dress the deer and the skin it, this will get you through. And by the end of skinning it, it's getting kind of dull. And this is the original sheath. So I, kind could have picked that, but I got the two that I like, my favorite, and the ones I EDC. So my favorite has to be the SC Azula. This is the small one, the first one, and what can you say? An awesome little fixed blade knife. It has their powder coating on there. It's 1095 steel. Black micarta covers on the handle. I bought this off a friend of mine, so I got a good deal. I added this little dingleberry off the end, and I swapped out the sheath to an Artemis sheath, Kayak sheath, with a soft loop right here. So I carry it horizontal in front of me, and this little dingleberry helps to pull it out and gives my pinky a little bit to grab onto. But boy, what a rugged little knife. This thing would do so much. You know, there's the reason people take these out in the woods. They have, you know, use as their bushcraft knife, and this would work as a hunting knife. It definitely would skin something. Just an awesome knife, and I like this sheath from Artemis Kayaks. Excellent sheath. Like I said, I carry this horizontal on the front of me, and right now this would have, I'd say, is my favorite EDC fixed blade. Now, the honorable mention is one that I've carried different ways, and I think I found how I like to carry it, and it is this Buck Pack Light. This is the 630 Pack Light, USA made. Also has these micro scales on here, which really lends themselves to pinch grip. And the jimping up here, yeah, this is a nice little skinner, but as an everyday carry, this is pretty awesome. So thin, it's almost skeletonized except for these little tiny scales, which actually add to it. Just enough thickness to feel good in hand. Good purchase on it. Handle's a little bit longer, definitely longer than the Essie. So, full 4-finger grip. Now the sheath is not my favorite sheath in the world. It comes without anything. You can wear it as a neck knife. I can wear it as a neck knife like this. I had a Tech Lock clip on there. That was okay. But the sheath, after a while, the knife starts to get loose in there, and then it'll start bouncing. It's never fallen out, but yeah, it's just something. But I decided to take the clip off, put this lanyard on here, this paracord, and what I do is I loop this over my belt or through my belt loop. I drop this down in my pocket, so I've been pocket carrying this, and it's not too thick or anything. It's not too wide, and I can just pull it out, and if I wanted, I could just pull it against the cord that's attached to my belt and pop it out. Otherwise, yeah, I just kind of thumb it off, and then I don't have to hold on to the sheath or anything. It just kind of dangles. But yeah, that'd be my honorable mention. I've been liking carrying this in the pocket instead of on the belt. And yeah, that's my honorable mention for fixed blades. And I guess that'll do it. This is probably a long video. But yeah, there's all my top 5 favorite knives and an honorable mention to each category. And I guess that'll do it for this video. Go check out Singing Toad. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. And do the usual like, comment, subscribe to this channel if you haven't. And until the next video, bye.